Tjena, tack.
Kul att ha dig här.
Ja, tack så mycket att du fick komma hit.
Gratulerar till allt fint.
Folks, you ready?
Take a little walk?
Yeah, let's do it. Little Swedish chocolate. You want some? Christopher Guzang. Yeah, he's the only Swede that's been up there somewhere.
Yeah. In orbit or in space? I guess of all the places you could have landed when you were coming into the NHL, all the teams you could have been drafted by, Washington's probably optimal in that you've at least got access to a place like this.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, first time I saw this place too. I mean, you just look at great view.
Your country, obviously, hockey has got roots there going way far back. What do you know about Sweden's hockey history?
Yeah, well, I know for a fact that soccer and hockey is by far the biggest two sports. Everyone back home follow the Swedish league, NHL. It's big, and I mean, obviously for these people that move over here, I mean they know about hockey and they obviously gonna follow it too.
Your hometown, Gävle. It's about 70,000 people, and there's a professional team there, a Swedish Elite League team. And your dad played there for a number of years, mostly before you were born, I think.
Yeah.
But he played with guys like Mats Naslund and Gay Hammerstrom. When you were growing up, how long did it take you to become aware of what your dad's history was?
I have to say I was probably around 10, 11, 12 there when I realized how good that team was when back in the 80s, 70s and 80s. So, I mean, they won a lot of championships. They had a lot of good players. They had Borje Salming was there too, and Stig Salming, his brother. I mean, there were lots of good hockey players that were there, and that's when I realized what kind of history that club had. My dad was very fortunate to play with those guys.
And he was drafted by the New York Rangers. Did you ever ask him about that or talk to him about it? Did he ever consider coming over?
Well, I think he planned to go over on their development camp in the summer, but he had to go do the military thing back home in Sweden then, so that was mandatory, so he couldn't skip it then, so he couldn't go over, and then I don't know.
Life.
Yeah,
life happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then my brother and I got born, and there goes his hockey career.
Literally.
Yeah.
Life happens. So if we were in your hometown, where would you take us?
First, I would probably take you guys to the rink to see all the history they have. It's a small city, lots of good restaurants, so I'll probably, for you especially, I'll take you to a nice Swedish restaurant, good seafood, a glass of wine for you.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
What was the best part for you about growing up in Sweden? When you look back on it,
The biggest thing that I've thought about after is how many possibilities for practice I had, and how many possibilities I could do so many sports at the same time. One time I was in tennis, golf, something we call back home kind of like street hockey, but with a ball instead of puck, and then hockey, soccer, and I was doing all those things at the same time. I mean, in the morning I had soccer, right over, we had everything in the same facility too, so it was pretty easy. And I think it's hard if you live in a bigger city. I had everything around me, and that's what I think opened everything up for me. That's why I'm here today, I think.
I noticed too there's rivers right near there, and there's the Baltic Sea as well. Did you do any boating, or is that something that you or your family were
when I was younger, it was too far. It was, I don't know, 35 minutes away, so didn't really go into the Baltic Sea, but now very fortunate to have a house right on there, so jet ski, take the boat out for a bit, and it's pretty nice, I would say. The water is not as clear as the Caribbean, but it works.
It's as I would imagine, having walked through a few IKEA stores. Was it an adjustment, a big adjustment for you to to come here and adjust to the culture? I know that you spoke the language.
When I first got it, I don't think it was really any difference with the food or anything, or it was just a little bit of a culture, I would say. Like back home, I was used to hang out with the guys in the team all day. And here you practice, and then you go home to your families. And for us, we didn't have a family at that time, so and I was kind of lost where to go then, like what to do. But I got used to it, and now I love it.
You've, over the years, had Marcus and Andre come along, and I know that you've taken them in, and I'm pretty sure both of them stayed with you for a little while too, as they were getting accustomed. And I mean, it must have been a real asset for them to have you here, to be able to make their entrance into the league and into the culture and the country and the city and all that a little bit easier.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. And when I got here, I got Michael Nylander here.
Right.
And he helped me out a lot, him and his family. And I was trying to do the same to Marcus and Andre when they got here. I mean, it's nice to have someone speak your own language in the beginning, until you can get around yourself and know what's going on. There's a lot of things off ice that you don't realize when you first get here. That's actually really important. I mean, you gotta get an apartment, furniture, all that stuff by yourself. So that's a little different. Andre stayed with me for a bit, and Jojo took my old apartment. So, and then Berkey was, I kicked him out. I couldn't handle him anymore.
It's tough. You've already got one kid.
Yeah, exactly. So I got two there for a while.
When you think of your first impression of this area, of Arlington and Washington, that summer of 2006, a couple of weeks after you drafted, and you think now, I mean, almost 10 years later, how you see and how you view everything in your surroundings and how far you've come, what are your thoughts?
Everything was pretty new for me when I first got here. I mean,
and you were just a kid.
Yeah, and I was just a kid, yeah. So first of all, a city that has 700,000, 800,000 in it, plus the surroundings, I don't know what it is, 2-3 million. So everything is it's a lot different from a little town that has 70,000 people in it. So, but I gotta say though, like I've been here, this is my 9th year, so a lot of things has changed.